If you're a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility and your machinery isn't working right, Grainger knows you need to understand what's wrong as soon as possible. So when a conveyor motor falters, Grainger offers diagnostic tools like calibration kits and multimeters to help you identify and fix the problem. With Grainger, you can be confident you have everything you need to keep your facility running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
If you're a podcast host, listen up, this one's for you. My name is Allie Jackson. I'm the host of Finding Mr. Height, a dating and relationship podcast that I've been doing for 4 years now, sharing my positive and practical approach to dating that's built on my own life experience. And I wanted to share another experience that I've had, my secret behind monetizing my show. It's called Red Circle, and I was just telling my colleague about how much I love their platform. With Red Circle, not only am I getting a seamless hosting experience, but I also love the support I receive in ad sales. It's not just typical ad sales either. It's targeted opportunities based on my show and my life. And the platform is super simple. You just set your preferences and Red Circle matches you with sponsors that align with your show. You can vet every opportunity and their platform gives you great analytics. More recently too, my Red Circle team has brought me opportunities outside of my podcast on social media to really augment the podcast partnerships, bring them full circle. I just can't recommend them enough. If you want to give it a try, go to redcircle.com to get your free trial. That's redcircle.com for a free trial.
What is up, Buffalo Fanatics? Z-Bot here with you. Saturday afternoon, and the preseason is officially in the books for the Buffalo Bills as we recap preseason Game 3 between the Carolina Panthers and the Buffalo Bills. Bills fall 31-26 at home. Kids Day in Orchard Park, about 50,000 in attendance to bring the preseason to a close as we set our sights on the regular season kickoff 2 weeks from tomorrow in Buffalo against the Arizona Cardinals. No starters this afternoon as we knew going into it, but we knew we'd have a chance to see a couple of other intriguing things about these Buffalo Bills, including the Joe Andreessen story in its second chapter this afternoon. The backup quarterback position, how would that look without Mitch Trubisky now being sidelined with an injury? And then, of course, Tyler Bass, which we will talk about as well. This pregame episode of The Smoke Break is powered by BetUS, where the game begins. 125% sign-up bonus via the link in the description below on your first 3 deposits up to $2,000. All right, let's get into it. Bills lose 31-26. If not for anything else, finally an entertaining game for a preseason game. Last week, 9-3, 0 touchdowns in that one for the Buffalo Bills. Whipped by the Chicago Bears the week prior, 0 touchdowns in that game as well. The Bills finally put a couple of touchdowns on the board this summer. First touchdown of the day coming from quarterback Ben DiNucci on a nice throw to the left sideline to Buffalo Bills running back Darrington Evans. He wound up getting banged up a little bit later on in the day, as did the star of the show today, Frank Gore Jr. We'll talk about him in a bit. All in all, though, for a preseason game, especially compared to the first two, it was more of a fun watch than the other ones were. The Panthers did start offensively with their starters out there, Bryce Young, Adam Thielen. They looked like they were going to get stifled by the Bills' third stringers on that first drive. It wound up coming down to a 4th down. Panthers converted on a far left sideline throw from Bryce Young, and they do end up punching it in to the end zone on that drive. Bryce Young went 6 for 8, 70 yards, and a touchdown on that first drive. Nothing concerning there for any reason other than the fact that the Carolina Panthers have to trot out their starters in week 3 to still kind of get their legs beneath them. The Panthers, of course, coming off a brutal season last year, still trying to figure out what they have with Bryce Young, what the future looks like there. That's why they went out with their starters, and the Bills did not today. I was on record saying I wish we would have saw more from the starters this offseason. I wish we would have saw the starters in some capacity last week with Josh Allen. Of course, we didn't. The only time we saw Josh Allen this preseason was week 1 against the Chicago Bears for 2 series, and he only threw 4 passes. That's all we've seen. I understand not doing it today, especially with the injury list the Bills have compiled up until now. The lucky thing for the Bills is that outside of the Matt Milano injury, Sean McDermott said the other day that the majority, if not all of these injuries, should not sideline anyone heading into week 1 against Arizona. So that's the good thing. You go into today, you don't want to further elongate that list. The Bills still wound up doing so with a couple of these second, third string type guys. We'll see what the injury status is of a couple guys, especially Frank Gore Jr., who had a monster day today. MVP for the Bills all around out on the field. It was fun watching him play today. But, that's the reason, and it's understandable. But as I said on the pregame show, I'm just so up in the air as to what these Buffalo Bills are going to look like going into week 1 with so much new on this roster, in particular on offense. We just don't know what it's going to look like, and we haven't really been given a sample size to determine what we think it might look like. We're only going to be able to find out right when it's thrusted into the fire week 1 against the Cardinals. But today, of course, we had to deal with the 2 new backups that the Bills are forced to go with Mitch Trubisky now being hurt. I wonder if the Bills are in the market for another backup quarterback. We'll see what happens when the 53-man roster is set early this coming week. We'll see if Brandon Beane makes a move for a veteran quarterback throughout the league that might get let go by another team or is up for auction. We'll see what happens. I don't know if the Bills are going to go into the season with the backup plan being either Ben DiNucci or Anthony Brown. Very well could, though. We have to also figure out what the status is going to be with Mitch Trubisky. It very likely could be that he gets placed on IR and it's completely done from the jump here. We have yet to get confirmation on that, but from all signs so far, it's looking like he's not going to be available in any capacity anytime soon. Now, of course, like I keep saying, and I'll always say this, no matter who the hell the backup quarterback is, if it comes down to having to put a backup quarterback out there, it isn't going to matter anyways. I don't really care who it is. So to be honest with you, it doesn't bother me all that much whether the Bills make another move at backup or who they have as their backup, because quite frankly, it's just not going to matter. These Buffalo Bills will be a shell of themselves without Josh Allen, and therefore the win-loss column will show that as well. So really not a concern of mine, because Josh Allen's been the most durable quarterback in the league since he's entered it. And if he goes down, the team goes down with him. It's just as simple as that. But we did get to see what would be the backup plan for Josh Allen as it stands right now. And it was a pretty good day for all intents and purposes for these 2 backup quarterbacks. Ben DiNucci got the first half, goes 11 for 15, 76 yards. And, of course, that aforementioned touchdown I mentioned a little bit earlier to Darrington Evans on that nice swing route. Darrington coming out of the backfield, catches it near the left sideline, takes it in for a nice touchdown for the Bills that would mark their first touchdown of the entire preseason here. Ben DiNucci should have had a pick on that drive, really should have been picked off a couple of plays prior to that touchdown. Ball was tipped in the air. It looked like it was 100% picked off the tip. Replay showed that the ball, I don't know. They've been very fast with these reviews, if you've noticed. The reviews are like going straight. They're not even bothering to take the time to go to the sidelines, it seems, anymore. Sometimes they do, but a lot of what I've seen in this offseason is that if there's a review that's worth taking a look at that isn't a scoring play, which they always look at anyways, it just seems like it immediately goes to New York or wherever they're doing it, and then they get a call down saying whether or not to let it stand or reverse it. In that scenario, it was not an interception, although it really did look like one to me, but the ball did apparently hit the ground. That gave Ben DiNucci another crack. The Bills would wind up going in and cashing in on that. He looked okay. A couple of throws I thought looked nice. That one in particular was terrible. It was off his back foot under pressure, and he just threw it right into the middle of the field and said a prayer, and he was lucky it didn't wind up getting picked off. He was only sacked one time, but it was for a massive loss. And outside of that, I thought it wasn't half bad. I really didn't. Was able to get that first touchdown on the board, as I said, and all in all, from a backup quarterback perspective, it was probably the best anybody's looked thus far throughout the preseason here. So not a bad day all around for Ben DiNucci. And then the newly signed third-string quarterback, Anthony Brown from the Baltimore Ravens. 11 to 12, 102 yards, was able to move in and out of the pocket very well as well. He looked pretty good too, for the circumstance being put in front of him. I thought it was pretty decent. First time out for the Buffalo Bills. Can't ask for much more than 11 to 12 and over 100 yards in a very brief outing. So not a bad day all around from the backup quarterback position for these Buffalo Bills. Been abysmal on offense the first 2 weeks of the preseason. So it was nice to see those two guys have a pretty decent day and, of course, put some points on the scoreboard. The one other touchdown the Buffalo Bills scored today, or one of the other ones, I should say, they wound up getting 3. I forget at the end there when they ran out of running backs and KJ Hamler had to come in and punch it in. That was interesting. But the highlight today, I would say, of course, Frank Gore Jr. How about the young fellow looking like his dad today out there in the preseason against the Carolina Panthers? He got a heavy workload today. He did end up getting banged up at the end. I was just so upset to see that. He did get up on his own power and walk off. I really hope Frank Gore Jr. is okay, because I think in his circumstance, for one, he led the Bills this entire preseason in rushing. And I thought there was some flashes there, man, where he looked damn good. I think Frank Gore Jr., as it stands right now, bare minimum practice squad position. We'll see if it's anything more than that. But I think they keep him around in some capacity, because I think he's looked great. And today he looked absolutely phenomenal. 18 carries for over 5.5 yards per. You're signing up for that all day, including one nice 17-yard run that came on the right edge. He just seemed like he was finding holes, even if they weren't there. He was moving very well in and out of the line of scrimmage, navigating extremely well. He looked quick. He looked agile, wound up getting in the end zone as well. And that was a bruiser-type run to get into the end zone there for the Bills' second touchdown, coming off along the right side. Didn't seem like he was going to get in. He had that little bit of extra power that wound up getting him across the goal line. He looked terrific today. Out of all the things that, you were looking at today or hoping to take away from it, for me, the one thing that stood out the most, I don't know how it couldn't be, was what Frank Gore Jr. did. I mean, the Bills, let's see, they ran about 50-ish plays, maybe a little less. They had Frank Gore touching the ball on damn near half the plays that they ran today. So I think that, the future for Frank Gore with these Buffalo Bills, I think there is something there. Now, whether that's actual playing time or not, the Bills right now have a very good problem at the running back position, right? You got James Cook coming off the first 1,000-yard year that a Buffalo Bills running back has had since LaShawn McCoy damn near a decade ago, which is insane to think that that's that long ago, but we're getting to that point. I think it was 7-ish years ago now. 7-ish years ago before the Bills had another 1,000-yard rusher. They got that last year. That was many thanks to Joe Brady coming in and really sticking with and implementing a run game that the Bills could rely on for the first time probably since LaShawn McCoy was on this roster. And that, of course, equaled a very efficient, very productive year for James Cook. The Bills are hoping to have that same output again this year, if not more. And then you have the rookie, Ray Davis, who we've seen some great stuff from this offseason, a lot of high hopes for him. And then Ty Johnson. So the Bills have a pretty good problem right now at running back in terms of the room that they have and who's going to get playing time and who isn't. I think that right now, based on what we've seen in the preseason here, no reason why Frank Gore Jr. shouldn't get a practice squad spot. And if for some reason he doesn't, guaranteed he gets picked up by somebody else and he could be in the rotation for another team, whether that be, second, third spot, depending on how anemic one team is or another at their running back spot. Loved what I saw today. He made that game fun to watch. It just felt like every time he grabbed the ball, he was making a play. And it just, sometimes you can just tell by the look, too. You can tell by the look of a guy, the way he moves. Something about the way he moves, man. It just looks NFL caliber. There was one run he had down towards the end zone, probably about 15 yards out, inside of the red zone. It was off the left side of the center, and it looked like he wanted to go outside. He brought it back inside, and then he immediately shifted back to the outside when the hole opened up. It was a beautiful display of what his vision is, and not only that, but his ability to turn on a dime. Bills have a pretty good situation right now at the running back spot. Really, I like what I've seen out of all of these guys. And you take a shot on Frank Gore Jr., and at the time, no one's thinking much of it other than, hey, maybe you're doing Dad a favor. One of the legends of the game, former Bill, looking like more than a favor to me, because Frank Gore Jr. certainly looks like he's an NFL caliber running back. And I really, really enjoyed watching him. Old Dirty saying, is your mic not plugged in? Oh, my God. It isn't. It is not. ODC, thanks for the update. My God. Hey, it's preseason. We're working the kinks out just like the Buffalo Bills are. Let me see if it's...
Is it better now? Let me double check and make sure it's plugged in. Should be plugged in now. Unbelievable. ODC, thanks for the heads up. Here I am lamenting about Frank Gore Jr. I'm enjoying talking about him. And the thing of it is I have it plugged in, right? So I have my headphones on. So in my head, I'm hearing it's sounding crisp and buttery. Sounding like that nice, fresh off a pack of Marv's bot you're used to. And I'm giving you the through the speakers discount version. So I apologize, but we're back up and running. Yeah, so Frank Gore Jr., really liked what I saw today. He was certainly the bright spot for the Buffalo Bills today. And, you know, like I said, one of the big contributors to a more entertaining game than I thought we were going to get based on what we saw the first couple of weeks. 31-26, once again, was the final. The Bills' defense in any capacity today could not do much of anything. They were getting, I mean, that Jack Plummer for the Panthers, the backup quarterback there, he was going off. My God. 21-29 for 278 yards. He was averaging damn near 10 yards an attempt. He had a couple of touchdowns on the day as well. As I mentioned, Bryce Young had a touchdown in week one on the first drive. Bills defense got carved today from the backup standpoint. Now, speaking of that defense, let's go to Joe Andreessen, who, of course, was the big topic of conversation throughout the past week after he balled out against the Pittsburgh Steelers in week 2 of the preseason, had a couple of tackles for loss, and he really shined in a spot that the Bills are going to need some depth in this year because of the injuries that have mounted up at the running back or at the linebacker position. Matt Milano out for the year. A couple of other guys are a little bit banged up, you know, and we'll see what ends up happening there with him. And we'll see what ends up happening with, you know, whether or not he ends up making the team. And then if he does make the team, what's the contribution going to be like? I have some thoughts on that, but I'm wondering what my main man Rico has to think about that.
Let's go. What's happening?
You got some time, buddy.
Listen, I was just in the groove. So
Good.
I was like, listen, folks, I appreciate you guys tuning in with me, my man Bot. I gotta go to the cottage. Something I'm not looking forward to doing right now. The wifey already left. She says, I have a laundry list of things for you to do. Do not spend a lot of time potting. I was like, no, I'm not even gonna pot. I'm gonna let Bot do it, but I can't let Bot do it by himself. I got to jump on for a little bit.
Rico never leaves me hanging. I love it. And you know what, Rico, I could have used it 20 minutes ago because my mic was off for the first 20 minutes. Here I am just going on, mic's off, you know. So,
well, shame on the fans because, I mean,
nope.
For those that are listening, they should have told you.
They did. Of course, I'm just not paying attention. I'm in my own world. So
you weren't paying attention to the people. Come on now. You got to the people, baby.
About to pay attention right now, though, because I got to rewind a little bit to my main man, Matt DeVito, who's coming in with a super chat. He says, hey, Z-Bot, I'm not so upset about this loss, and I'm glad the preseason is over. Preach. I can speak for both Rico and I. We are both excited about this shit being over. Cannot wait to get to the regular season. I'm happy that we didn't get blown out, and let's get hyped for what's to come. Well said, Matt. Well said. Preseason's over. That's probably the biggest highlight of today, I would say. Rico, where do you want to start? I was just about to get into Joe Andreessen. We can go there. We can go, and I want to save the Tyler Bass rant before you leave.
I just finished my Tyler Bass, and I'm still on Tyler Bass right now.
You want to go there right now?
I want to go there right now.
Right, let's go there right now.
What the hell?
All right. So if you haven't heard, you know, if you didn't watch, I don't blame you. Look, here's been the biggest problem. Tyler Bass, who is one of the more well compensated kickers in this league, got an extension not all that long ago from the Buffalo Bills. We are going into a month of September in which this time last year, Tyler Bass was named the AFC Special Teams Player of the Month. Okay, so it's not like he's incapable of being a good kicker. He earned that a year ago, almost to the month, right? And of course, he earned an extension with the Buffalo Bills based on his ability to kick the ball well for the Buffalo Bills at the field goal kicking position. Then all of a sudden last year, it's the worst year he's had to date. It was a very mediocre to below mediocre year. And when you look across the league and rank him among the rest of the kickers in the NFL, he was towards the middle or bottom of the pack, not nearly where you'd want him to be after an extension and after the high hopes the Bills have had for him. Then, of course, the last thing we see from him is a wide right kick against the Kansas City Chiefs in a huge moment against the Super Bowl champs in the divisional round. And then that's where the concern, I think, really started to get emphasized, Rico. It was already there. Then it got emphasized dramatically because of that. And now we go into the offseason, and you're just, I said the other day on Twitter, every time I log onto this damn app, I'm seeing Tyler Basson struggles at least once or twice from somebody who's at the camp or the practice. And then today, and this seems to be the biggest problem, Rico. If you put him 35 and in, which I can't believe I'm saying this, but yeah, 35 and in should be like, riding a bike. It's riding a bike. Yes, you are an NFL kicker, 35 and in. It's a dime a dozen. You're missing one of those. But Rico, when we get to the 45-ish plus range, this is an area where you cannot have any sort of confidence anymore based on what you have read and heard about Tyler Bass this offseason, based on how last year went. And then today, I said in the pregame, all I want to see today, because it's the only real starting aspect we're going to be able to evaluate, I want to see Tyler Bass kick the ball. He only got 2 kicks. He made the easy one. But Rico, in the big moment, the 51-yarder, where these are going to decide games for the Bills, these are going to be difference makers in a very tough schedule for the Bills. He wasn't even close. So talk to me, Rico. You and I were on this a couple of months ago. Our concern wasn't major, but it was there. Are you at the point now where you're hitting the panic button? What are your thoughts?
It's shaky. If you were to ask 20 Bills fans right now, and I say, hey, man, what are your thoughts on Tyler Bass? You're not going to hear someone say, oh, man, I love that kicker. You're going to be here, I don't know what's going on with him, or I'm not happy with what's going on, or I'm a little scared. Every last one of them is not going to have something nice to say. And I'll tell you right now, and it's feeling that way. And it was surprising to me when the announcer, who was the announcer today? Brown. Excuse me?
The announcer you're talking about?
Yeah, who was announcing today for the Bills? Tasker.
Oh, Tasker. Yeah.
Tasker was like, hey, Tyler Bass is 5 for 5 and just made it 6 for 6. I was like, hold on a second. He's 5 for 5 in preseason? I was like, okay.
Yeah, but 5 of them were from 35 and in, I'm pretty sure.
Exactly. So I was like, hold on. And then when he dropped that nugget, I was like, okay, cool. And then when Tyler Bass going for 51 yards, I was like, all right, this kick, if he makes this kick, I'm going to be like, okay, he's just got to get out of his head and everything will be just fine. He'll be cool. 51 is not an easy one, but 51, you've made it countless times. Go ahead and crush this one. It's a bad miss.
Bad mess.
It's like, what's going on in your head, my guy? Fam, it's to the point where he's going to force Brandon Beane to pick up that phone, and he doesn't want to, and say, who's available? Who's available? Brandon Beane doesn't want to do that shit. I paid you so I don't have to do that shit. You know what? Not only did I pay you, I paid you to make kicks beyond 35. I can make a 35-yard field goal. I promise you that. I'm not even capping. I can hit a 35-yarder.
So to your point,
you are paid to make those kicks, my G.
And those are the ones that are going to make the difference. They could find anybody to come in and make a 35-yarder. That's just the nature of the position. The 45-yarders have become the 35-yarders. The 50-yarders, growing up a 50-yarder, it was like, oh, hey, Dad, come in here and see this. Sebastian Janikowski just hit one from 50 yards. And now it's like, oh, hey, Brandon Aubrey, 66 yards. Wow, okay, like expected, because that's what Brandon Aubrey did a couple of days ago in their preseason game. He tied Justin Tucker's record. So it's like, the goalpost literally, I know it's a saying, but the goalpost literally keeps getting moved in the NFL, and there are kickers who are hitting it in stride. They are doing extremely well. Now you're talking about getting rid of them. Our buddy Joe Marino put up a little bit earlier the situation at hand in terms of getting rid of them. And Rico, it's just not ideal for the Bills at all. If they were to get rid of them, they take a cap hit and then in order to do that, they would have to then bring on another kicker who, of course, if available right now, is already unproven and probably won't be as good as Bass is already. So I doubt Brandon Beane goes and takes a cap hit in pursuit of going and getting a guy that's more than likely going to be as average as Tyler Bass has looked. So we're pretty much stuck going into this year, it looks like.
Listen, we are stuck. We're not getting rid of him. Here's what's gonna have to happen. It's going to be decision time. McDermott's going to have to make a lot of tough decisions. All right, it's 4th and 3, and we're on the 35-yard line. Or excuse me, we're on the 25-yard line. We're on the 30-yard line. 4th and 3. Josh, get out there.
Right.
Josh, get out there. All right, Jumbo, get everybody out there. Get all the big boys. We need to push for 2 yards. We wanted Josh to handle the ball less, and now our kicker can't even make these kicks that we need him to make, and we're shaky on it. Coach is going to have to make decisions. We're going to be going for a lot on 4th down because we just don't feel confident. Or the wind, we're going to look at the wind. We're going to look at – look, we drafted Bass to kick through the wind. We drafted him because he has a heavy leg. We drafted him for these adverse weather moments that we're going to have. Not to give Josh the football in 4th and 4. You know what I mean? So that's what's probably going to have to happen because they're not as confident. And now as a coach, as a teammate, you're sitting here going, yo, do I want to give it to the kicker or do I want to put the ball in Josh's hands? I don't want to have to do that. I should be able to say my kicker should be able to walk out there with all the confidence in the world. I want him to be on the sideline smoking a cigarette. Oh, is it my turn? Flick that cigarette, put that helmet on and go out there and kick that thing and say, thank you. Call me when you guys need me again. Not, is it my turn to kick? Oh, shit. All right, guys. Here we go. 1 step, 2 step back, 2 step to the side. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hope I make it. I don't want to see that shit. I don't. I want my kicker to be as confident as possible. Get in there, smash that thing, and say, call me when you guys need me again. I'm going to sit on the sideline and chill. Oh, man, this ain't good.
That is such a great point you make. I haven't even thought about it, but now you wonder if you do end up getting, say, into that 50 to 45-yard range, and it's 4th and 3, 4th and 4, is that now automatic Josh Allen time? And look, they're not going to get every one of those. And then not only do you not get the first down or forego points if you had a kicker that you would rely to get those kicks made in that situation, you also give the opponent the ball damn near at the 50-yard line. That is something I haven't thought of. It's also something that I think as of right now, I'm running the offense out on the field. I probably give it a couple of weeks, Rico, right? You have to. You probably run it in Arizona, Miami, whatever. But I'm telling you, Arizona, he trots out for a 45, 50-yarder, and that thing sails wide right. I doubt I'm making that mistake again. I'm sorry.
Listen, and I gotta say this because most people might think that I'm overreacting. And by the way, I apologize. I don't know if Bot and I sound the same, or do we sound the same, Bot?
We sound good.
Yeah, I sound good. I'm still kind of getting over my cold.
I can hear your voice a little bit, though. You feeling better?
It's getting there. I was hoping that I was going to sound like you, but it's not working out.
You're getting there. A couple more cigarettes this weekend at the cottage. You'll be good.
By the way, I like that sweater. That's a dope ass sweater. So here's another thing. When we acknowledge that we need special teams, we always factor in where they're playing, right? You're playing in Buffalo. We factor that in with the quarterback that we have. We factored that in with the punter that we drafted, right? And we factored that in with Bass. The Bills play in one of the weirdest weathered places to play in. The wind is going here, there, everywhere. So that's why we need guys like Tyler Bass to come through. So, you missing kicks and you're going to be missing kicks in September, October? Bro, when we need you in November, December, this is when we're going to really need your ass. And you're missing kicks early when the weather's nice and all that. Bruh, we're going to have, there's going to be some issues. There's going to be some furniture moving if he keeps missing those kicks. Furniture is going to have to move and somebody's going to say, listen, we got to move some furniture around here. And we're going to figure some shit out. Because right now, this ain't working, man. This ain't working. He better get his act together. Now, maybe I, as a fan, am overreacting. I don't think I am. I think a lot of us are in this place because you're going to be pissed when a team that we have no business losing to and Josh Allen does what Josh Allen does and just wills us back into play. And then we say, hey, Tyler, we need you for the win. And
this
Tyler,
will be something to keep an eye on, Rico. I just looked. And it's funny because didn't it feel like last year McDermott was more willing to go for it on 4th down? Didn't it feel like that?
How many times did we go? Are you looking at the stat of how many times we went for it on fourth
Yeah,
down?
Rico, I'm stunned by this. They were 28th last year on fourth down attempts. They only went for it 16 times. That's only 2 more. Actually, they were tied for 29th. That's only 3 more than last place in San Francisco. To give you another example, the Carolina Panthers went for it 48 times last year, and Dan Campbell and his gigantic balls in Detroit, they went for it 40 times. So this could be a moment to clip right here. 16 attempts for the Bills last year. Are you seeing that number way up in 2024?
Double that.
Wow.
Double that.
Double that.
Double
You
that.
think McDermott's got the stones to double that?
He's not going to have a choice. That's the
where
problem.
you think it's at, right? You think it's the cards or literally you're going to have to.
He's not going to have a choice. And let me tell you something. Let me tell you. You look over at 17, and 17's like, let's go. I'm not even coming off the field. Or you look over at your kicker. Who are you going to trust the ball with or to make the positive play? Are you looking at 17 or are you looking at number 2? Bruh, I'm looking at number 17. If 17 says, I ain't coming off that field, what is coach going to say? Coach is going to be like, no. So that's Josh Allen telling you, yo, forget the kicker. I got this. We got this. So my man Bill's boot camp says we overreacted.
He's not going to say that when it's, Bills Chiefs week 13 and, this shit happens again. I understand the reason why he's saying this, right? Because it is just one kid. You have to be dialed in right now to practice to understand that Tyler Bass, and shout out my man Banged Up Bills, I believe it was on Twitter earlier. He's been keeping a ledger of this, which is impressive. Okay. He has a ledger of every kick Tyler Bass has made this offseason in practice. Rico, he's 16 to 25.
Oh, shit. Is he really?
16 to 25 on practice kicks this offseason.
What's the percentage of 16 to 25?
I'm no Isaac Newton, but I think that's something in the 70s.
Ouch. Even worse than that, bro.
What is it?
64%.
I mean, dude, 64%. There's like Division II college kickers who are going to give you.
You make 64% of your kicks? 64? 80 is you have to.
80's bad.
80, I need you to make at the minimum 80% of your kicks. 8 out of 10, you got to make that. I'll give you the off one kick that you don't get, depending on the distance and all that good stuff. That plays a factor. But 16 of 25, my G? Nah, we got some other effing problems, boy. We got some problems. We got to fix that up. 64% is absolutely wild. I don't care what anybody wants to. You're overreacting. Shut your ass up. You don't know what overreacting is. Wait till he starts missing kicks. Then we're going to talk about overreacting. Golly.
Rico, he was 82.8% last year, and there were only a handful of guys worse, especially when you look at the amount of attempts. Like if you get rid of the guys that only had 16 attempts or something like that, Tyler Bass was circulating around the bottom barrel of the league last year. The worst percentage for anyone with 25 kicks or higher was 64. But then if we go up to 23, because there was a bunch of guys that had 17 or less, if we go up to 23 kicks or higher, Tyler Bass only had about a 7% increase. Brett Maher was right around the bottom as well at 73.9. So I know 80%, like if you took a really hard test and you got an 82.8% like Tyler Bass is in kicking, you'd be probably okay with that. The difference is, I'll give you an example of what the difference is right now. And this is ultimately going to be the difference in games. I said this earlier on Twitter. This is the scariest part about this situation. The Buffalo Bills have not lost a football game in the regular season in the past 40 games by 6 or more points. So what does that tell you? There are going to be plenty of opportunities for the game to come down to the leg of Tyler Bass. And that's what's terrifying, because it might be a miss here, a miss there. That could be a loss here, a loss there. And that could ultimately be a major difference in playoff seeding or making it, just based on how different the things are for the Bills this year and how tough the AFC is. But you go up the ladder, Rico. I mean, Harrison Butker, 33 of 35. Brandon Aubrey, 36 of 38. Kaimi Fairbairn, 27 of 28. Nick Folk, 29 of 30. It's night and day when you look at the numbers. Like 82.8%, it doesn't sound terrible, but compared to the cream of the crop of the league, there's a big gap there. And I just wonder what the leash is, Rico. Like, I know we're talking about this now, but
Listen,
Is the leash a couple of games? Is it one game? Like, what do you think?
We're riding with this guy till the end.
No, I mean in terms of like 17 get out there like every time.
Oh, listen, that's a great question. Listen, it all goes. Listen, the next few weeks of practice, 2 weeks, give or take 2-3 weeks, 2 weeks of practice,
2 weeks.
See how he plays out. If he goes absolutely bonkers the next 2 weeks, the rest of this week, he's 8 for 8. The week after that, he's 8 for 8. He hasn't missed that practice all day. Then we good. We rolling. But if he continues to be shaky up until week 1, bro, it's going to be case by case scenario. It's not even going to be automatic. All right, get the kicker out of here. It's going to be case by case scenario. Week 1, and that's wild to even talk about that during week 1. It's craziness. And what's even wilder is that we're talking about a freaking kicker. That's much more wild right now. We talk about Tyler Bass. And I'm not even saying straight cash, homie, straight Bass, homie. No,
we used to be saying that all the time. That's why I don't get. That's why I don't understand.
Now we got to say other ways. Straight ass, homie. That's what's happening, man. Oh, I don't
know what happened in the demeanor of him. I don't know if you notice. It just feels like he looks like a guy walking out there that everyone told him to go home and he picks up his ball and leaves. Like, that's what it kind of looks like. He looks like he's got his head down. He looks like he doesn't have confidence in himself. And I think that's what's showing. I think that's ultimately what we're seeing here. We know he can be a good kicker.
I don't know, man. That eye black, maybe he has to put 2 eye blacks on. Like, put that one eye black on, put the other one on, because maybe it's get you off kilter. I mean, put the other one back on, get you back up to center, and let's get going. I don't know what's going on, but I hope he fixes it, and I want to cheer for Tyler Bass. I think we all want to cheer for Tyler.
Of course.
We want to cheer for that, but right now, bro, things are a little shaky. But can we, before I get out of here, can we talk about something on a brighter note?
Absolutely.
Can you want to hit it, or
you want to talk Joe Andreessen?
I think we should talk Joe Andreessen. I think we could talk Fred Gore Jr.
Oh, I touched on him, but I'd love to hear your thoughts as well, because that was the most impressive and most exciting part of the day today.
Well, let me touch a little bit on Fred Gore Jr., because since I love the running back room, the running back room is absolutely filthy. First and foremost, this running back room has been one of the best that we've seen in some time. Ty Johnson is a stud. Let's not even forget about that. Ray Davis is a effing stud, and James Cook, you already know what time it is with James Cook. And then you got Darrington Evans. Yo, he's been great all offseason. He's been solid all offseason. And then Fred Gore Jr. has 14 carries the last 2 games and then bust 100 yards on 18 carries. My man was ready for this moment.
You look great.
Bro, the whole running back room was lovely to see. And what I loved about this run game was the fact that this O-line was pushing, I almost cussed out, was pushing brothers around. They were just really getting in there. And Frank Gore was making great cuts, great moves. Even KJ Hamler got in on the mix on that, man. Listen, we're going to run this ball. We're going to run the rock this year. We ran the ball very well after Ken Dorsey left, and we're going to continue to run that rock. So I'm looking forward to it. And Fred Gore Jr. solidifying his game today was great. The problem is we ain't got room for Fred Gore Jr. That's the problem. He's not making this team. And as sad as it makes me sound, I mean, as sad as I am to even say those things, he can't make this team. He can't make it over Ty Johnson because Ty Johnson has more value and is a better back, period, than Frank Gore Jr. Frank Gore Jr. is a great story, but he can't make the squad. He's not making over Ray Davis.
You don't think they keep him on the practice squad?
That's the only place that he can make this.
I think they might.
I like Darrington Evans more than Frank Gore Jr. I do, because Darrington Evans gives me more than Frank Gore Jr. was. I can put Darrington Evans to catch footballs in the backfield. I can put Darrington Evans to punt return and kick return. I can't do that for Frank Gore Jr. I can only put Frank Gore Jr. in at running back, and that's that. So now it becomes flexibility, positional flexibility. Can you move him all over the place? No, you cannot. You could try, but you just can't. Somebody said keep 4 backs, bruh. Yeah, so you keep 4 backs. That means you got to keep less of a lineman, less of a DB, less of a receiver, less of a tight end. Come on now.
There's just no point. They'll never play him enough. There's no point to keep 4 backs. I see what you're saying. You'd like to. Rico, you echoed everything I said earlier. I said the exact same thing as you said. Like, this is a good problem the Bills have. This running back room looks great. I think that they keep him on the practice squad, but I also think that he could wind up being a second, third guy for another team. Like instantly if they wound up letting him go.
here's the thing. He'll go to the practice squad. I mean, if he wants to stick with the Bills, he'll stick with the Bills. Somebody's going to give it a chance. And this is a league of nepotism as well, right? So Frank Gore is friends with somebody that's in an executive position somewhere around the league. They might say, yo, man, bring this guy on the 53 of X team.
Yeah.
Right?
Point.
I mean, maybe John Lynch says, you know what, F it. I want him to run behind CMC and be running back 3. You just never know how these things play out, right? So it is.
Well, imagine him in a Niners jersey. I mean, just like,
Listen, you just never know these days, man. You never know. Frank Gore plays so many places.
I know.
So and he's been in the league 16 years. You know that he's made friendships along the way, and he's gained a lot of respect from executives and players that have now become executives that have the power and decisions to make. You never know those things can happen, man. So we'll see. We shall see. My man, I think he's frozen.
His end or my end? Let me know in the comments. My man Rico froze up on me. Are you there? Are you good?
Did I freeze up? I think it was you.
Yeah, you're good.
It could be.
It might have been me. I think it might have been me.
It's all good. It's all good. Can I keep going?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I keep going? I mean, not on the running back position because I'm trying to squeeze in as much as I can. I don't want to kill the show, but I'm trying to.
I already touched on that. You pretty much said everything you said, but the point you made that I agree with is that I didn't even think about it. Like, even if they do keep him to the practice squad, like somebody else is going to want him. So I think it's great for him. I thought he looked great today. I'm really rooting for the guy. He looked awesome today, and in any capacity they've given him, he really has taken the most advantage of it. So
that touchdown,
Junior, man.
It was a great toss, and the toss play doesn't really work too much in the NFL because everybody's so damn fast, right? But he took that to the corner. Yo, good job, Frank Gore Jr. That was great.
He's got a little bit of everything. Great vision, great movement, and he can be a bruiser when needed too. Really, really good stuff from Frank Gore Jr. today. He made today a fun watch.
Runs like his dad, man. That was good.
Yeah. So you wanted to transition. What are you thinking next?
Can we go to the defense?
We can.
Let's hit Joey. Let's hit Joey B.
Let's do it.
How'd you feel about Joey B?
I'll tell you what I thought of you. The one thing we were talking about him last week. Terrific story. Nobody's rooting harder for anything in the world right now, I think, than Bills fans are probably rooting for Joe Andreessen, and for good reason. They actually, on the broadcast today, Rico, I'm sure you saw, they were showing the old pictures of him.
Yeah.
Growing up at the stadium, which I'm like, it reminds me of me. I'm thinking of myself in his shoes. I think it's just the most insane thing ever. It's the coolest thing. Then they had a shot of his dad out there earlier today, pregame, and he's got the Zubas on, the backwards Bills cap with the Andreessen jersey on. It's just so much coolness coming together, and you want to root for it to work out for him. He's second leading tackler today.
Yep.
You mentioned this, though, and I thought of you. You said, I wonder what it's going to be looking like in pass coverage. And it, to me, today, showed we saw a little bit of vulnerability there. The pass coverage today from Joe Andreessen was not great. In particular, the first touchdown of the day for the Panthers, he got smoked. So I forget who the wide receiver was. It might have even been the second touchdown. I forget whoever was in there. Either way, one of the touchdowns for the Panthers. And Andreessen is in the middle, right? And he winds up going cross field to the far left, leaving a wide receiver on the inside. I mean, he couldn't have been more open, and it was a toss-up lob touchdown. That one was on him. There was a couple other moments, Rico, where it felt like the middle of the field was wide open today. So when it comes to him getting the hit in and finishing the tackle, terrific. That was my concern today from him. What did you notice?
It's funny. I saw what Bobby saw. Bobby didn't think he had a great day at all. Bobby's like, oh, okay, well, now the honeymoon's over. It's over with. He's back to, being a depth linebacker, and maybe he doesn't make the squad. I saw the same decisiveness. I saw the same knifing through and making right decisions on run fits, all that good stuff. That play that he allowed that touchdown, it was just a miscommunication. You got to make the switch. They both chased him, and Deion Jones both chased the same player and leaving the one guy open. That was just a miscommunication issue.
That's what I looked like.
Yeah, for sure. His coverage is mediocre, and nothing that stands out. But the real question is, does he make the 53? I was talking about him. If he duplicates and he looks as good as he did against the Steelers, does he start? I was talking about him starting. Real talk, because you look at the depth that we have right now. Yep. Nick Moreau is still dealing with a groin and thigh injury, something of that nature. Deion Jones, I don't know if he even makes the squad. I don't think he did enough to make the squad. Eddie Ulufushio, depth piece. I don't think he was in conversation. Balin Spector is up there, but he's more of the depth piece. So it's like it's Dorian Williams and Terrell Bernard. But if let's just for some reason, if he came out, played really hard, and you had to make a decision between Dorian Williams and it would have been a toss-up. It could have been a toss-up between Dorian and Andreessen. But I think what was big is Dorian did not play today. So that tells you it's going to be Dorian and it's going to be Terrell Bernard. Yeah. And we will see did he do enough over Elufucio, Spector? Do they like him over Spector? And do they like him over Deion Jones? And I think they do. And I think he makes the team. I don't think it's a matter of a practice squad. I think he's a 53-man guy. And we move from there. But what did you see? What were your thoughts?
I agree with you. No, like I don't want to get it twisted. Like earlier, the reason I was focusing in on the coverage was because it was a point you had made that I was interested in, because I think we have been extremely spoiled. Matt Milano might be the greatest linebacker in coverage in the entire league. If you go and look at the splits, the numbers in terms of throwing the ball in the middle of the field on Matt Milano compared to when he's not out there, it's like night and day. The production in the middle of the field goes way down for the opposing quarterback when Matt Milano is out there, manning the middle of the field. You can't throw on him. So you're going to have a regression there regardless of who's in there. Terrell Bernard, of course, should bring that back up to somewhat par compared to what we saw throughout the most of the duration of the season last year. But no, I was just focusing in on that. The first thing, the one I mentioned, yes, it did seem like a miscommunication. Yeah. But ultimately, he was the one on the inside there. And I don't know why he thought that he had to go all the way over unless they thought that one was supposed to come in. Who did you say the miscommunication was with?
I think it was Deion Jones. I think it was him and Deion.
So it just felt like
Deion took the outside. He should have stayed with the crosser.
Exactly. I don't know why he went outside because the receiver was already on the inside. Like if Andreessen stayed right where he was, I don't even know if they score on the play. If he just
Buffalo Fanatics, what's going on? This is Pierre the Kingpin, and I wanted to talk to you today about Cigars International, which is the ultimate destination for premium homemade cigars. Known as the industry leader, Cigars International offers the largest selection, unbeatable prices, and a customer service experience that's second to none. Whether you're new to cigars or a seasoned vet, Cigars International makes enjoying cigars easy, approachable, and fun. Cigars International is the go-to retailer for all things cigars, with the biggest selection of premium homemade cigars available anywhere. Cigars International offers unbeatable deals and discounts, making it easy to stock up on your favorite or try something new without breaking the bank. With fast free shipping and their 100% satisfaction guarantee, you can shop with confidence knowing that Cigars International stands behind every order. They have good relationship with vendors that helps provide great low prices. Whether you're new to cigars or a seasoned pro, Cigars International makes it easy to find the right cigar with helpful guides, staff reviews, and expert advice. It's not just about cigars. Cigars International also offers a wide range of accessories and more to elevate your smoking experience. Check out the great deals every day at cigarsinternational.com. That's cigars, CIGARS, international.com. Use code FANATICS at checkout for 20% off your order of $50 or more, plus free shipping. Or visit www.cigarsinternational.com/fanatics, and the discount will automatically apply. Again, use code FANATICS at checkout for 20% off your order of $50 or more, plus free shipping. Or visit www.cigarsinternational.com/fanatics, and the discount will automatically apply.
If you're a custodial supervisor at a local high school, you know that cleanliness is key, and that the best place to get cleaning supplies is from Grainger. Grainger helps you stay fully stocked on the products you trust, from paper towels and disinfectants to floor scrubbers. Plus, you can rely on Grainger for easy reordering, so you never run out of what you need. Call 1-800-GRANGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Stayed right where he was. But then with the motion to the far side, it literally created a wide open alley. That's how they wound up scoring. But outside of that, it just felt like whenever the ball crosses the line of scrimmage, he is on it like white on rice. That's what I love the most about him. It feels like every time you see the ball get past the line of scrimmage, whether or not he makes the tackle or not, he's within the vicinity every single time. And once again today, he led the team in tackles last week, and he was right behind today in the second slot. So in terms of getting in on the ball, I agree with you. Like, it's certainly making the team type caliber, especially when you factor in the injury situation and the uncertainty with all the other guys. I don't know enough about him right now in coverage to make a determination on it. That was just the one thing that stood out to me today. I also don't know if you're going to get the best overall evaluation of that in a situation like today, where it would look a hell of a lot different when you are with the starters and you're going against starting caliber, right? Like, I don't know if we're going to actually, like a lot of the situations that are around the Bills right now. I said this earlier. My biggest concern right now above anything is the uncertainty about just about everything. Like, going into week 1, we just have no clue what anything's going to look like, Rico. So this kind of follows suit in that, where I think, like Andreessen, it's almost like, why not? There's going to be so many aspects of this team week 1 where you're just going to be looking like this. Like, what's this going to look like? What's this going to look like? I don't see any reason to believe right now, Rico, that he didn't earn a 53-man roster spot based on the dichotomy of that linebacker room right now.
I think he makes a squad. Does he get some playing time during the year? I'm sure he will. Listen, let's not forget too, we have a banger in Dorian Williams and we have a coverage guy in Terrell Bernard, right? So if both can be, and Dorian Williams will get better. He will develop. And Andreessen is going to be, this is a learning season. There's going to be a learning season. And we're banged up at the moment. So right now he's getting his opportunity because we're so banged up. So once these guys start to get healthy and they're in place and where they're supposed to be, then we'll see how this shakes out. But I ain't shaky on him. I like Andreessen, man. I think he did it. I think he took the most. He did the most he could with the time they gave him, and then you just roll from there at this point. I do have a question for you though.
Yeah.
Whether you saw something, maybe you didn't. Sleeper to make this team. Anybody stand out to you? I'm putting you on the spot because I have a sleeper, but I'm thinking, do you have a sleeper that's like, maybe?
Give me the side of the ball you're thinking.
Offense.
Oh.
Receiver.
You're thinking Shavers?
I think Shavers. Listen, Shavers. Well, let's just put things into context here. All right, and we'll listen. In the chat, let's put things. Let's talk for real. All right, if we're gonna talk, let's talk. You got. I'm leaning in like I'm about to spit some real shit. All right. So you got Khalil Shakir as you're pretty much gonna be your dog. Then you got Keon Coleman. Then you got your Curtis Samuel, and then you got Mac Hollins. Those are your 4. I would have never thought that I'd be uttering those words and saying, "Yo, those are my dogs." Right. So that's wifey called me like, "Are you ready?"
I was gonna say, you got that ringer on old man mode. That thing almost took my eardrum out right there.
It's because she likes to call me on Messenger. Anyway, so and that's her probably checking to see if I left yet. But here's the deal.
She's on you.
So you got those 4. Then you got MVS as your 5. We don't know how long MVS is going to be out with that neck injury. It's week to week, but it seems like it's going to be like 3 weeks, maybe 4, maybe even more. Who knows? Okay. So then you have receiver 6. Who's that? We thought it was going to be Chase Claypool. He gone. So let's just say it's Shavers. Shavers slots into receiver 5 because MVS is out for a bit. Who's receiver 6? Or who has an opportunity to take receiver 6? Yo, I'm gonna tell you something, man. Deion Kane didn't look bad to me today. Deion Kane didn't look bad to me. And you're probably saying, yo, you're jumping on this way too, like you tripping right now. Hold on. Deion Kane he just came back from the USFL and was a baller with USFL. So he's got a little bit of momentum going his way. He hasn't had much time with the team. 3 receptions, 3 targets, and each one of those, he took it 9 to 10 yards, but it was on a screenplay. So he was able to wiggle and make nothing into something. So I'm not saying he's absolutely making this team. I'm just saying don't sleep on Deion Kane. You know what I mean? Making a little bit of noise. If he makes a little bit more noise during practice, and MVS is still a problem being out there, because it's all contingency on MVS if MVS comes back. If it's not even an issue, it's probably going to be Shavers and MVS. But if they feel that Shavers gives you the same thing that MVS gives you, why keep both receivers that give you the same type of deal? You might as well throw in Deion Kane or KJ Hamler. You need that speed. That speed is what you
Hamler. Are you already factoring in Hamler on the team, or is this factoring in him not being on the team?
Factoring him being on the team based on MVS, his status right now, it's up and down. So that receiver 6 spot is really the one that's up for grabs. So is it locked in at Deion Shavers if MVS is 5, or is it Hamler, or is it Deion Kane? Like that 5-6 spot is a mess. If you look at the receiver spot, it's a mess. So do
you think they even keep 6? I know you've been kind of on the fence about that idea.
We've kept 6. We've kept 6 like for the last 4 years, 5 years. So I think 6 is what we keep. My man says Bills keep 5 receivers more than they keep 6. Though McBean, it's the McBean. They've kept 6 receivers.
I thought they kept 5 last year.
Now you got me thinking of who were the 5 they kept.
I don't even know.
I'd have to go back. Excuse me. Pardon me.
Too. But either way, yeah, I see what you're saying completely. Because it's up in the air entirely right now.
Is what I'm saying. So Deion Kane, he's got an opportunity to squeeze into that number receiver 6 spot. I mean, we'll see. We will see. But for the most part, it's up in the air. KJ Hamler has an opportunity. He was in the mix to be trying to make the squad, and right now, freaking what's his face played an absolute study game today. Number 25, Hardy.
Yeah, I mean he could be returning the ball for him.
Bro, Hardy's nice, man. Hardy's making that squad, and he's
probably gonna be the punt returner. I would imagine he's gotten the most burn.
He's a return guy. I think he beat out KJ Hamler.
Yeah, I just wonder. I mean, look at Curtis Samuel already a little bit banged up this offseason, right? And then you have MVS. I mean, it's not the craziest thing to think one of these depth guys that you don't know a whole hell of a lot about right now, it ends up at least being in the rotation to some degree. That's just what the Bills have right now at the wide receiver spot, man. This is what it is. It's just
it's a little messy. It's a little dicey.
I mean, you can't really care this year who the hell gets the ball. Really.
No.
I mean, ultimately, the Bills are going to be successful if they have the same type of run production they had last year. Kincaid winds up taking a massive step. And I think, you know what? Dawson Knox is going to have to be right alongside of them, too. I think those two, that to me is where I see the majority of the production coming if it were like a perfect world, because I think that was shown a bit last year. When they ran the 2 tight end set last year, they were about as efficient a team in doing it as anybody else in the league. They just actually didn't run it as much as you'd think that they would. And that's because Knox was in and out, of course. He was injured a bit throughout the year. And you did have Diggs and Davis. The last year was a luxury to kind of go with the 2 tight end set. I don't know if it's that much of a luxury this year, Rico, more than I think it might be a necessity.
It might. We'll see. I mean, it's all numbers at the end of the day. They might even say we're keeping 5 receivers, but you don't want to keep 5 receivers because it's so things happen so quickly in this league. One guy goes down and you're like, shoot, I'm sitting here trying to pick and prod it. I want to keep my 6 receivers, but that 6th receiver is normally going to be a special teams guy. So that's where you're going to try to find out, okay, where does this guy, is Shavers a really good special teams guy? Is it KJ Hamler? Can Deion Kane be a special teams guy? And he is a special teams guy because he returns as well, right? But can you go down the field and tackle? That's what it comes down to. So that receiver 6 spot is going to be very intriguing on what Brandon Beane decides to do come this Tuesday, because I think this Tuesday is
at midnight, I think.
So Diggs, Davis, Hardy, Shakir, Sherfield.
That was last year.
Did we not keep one more? I feel like we kept one more. It was Sherfield and somebody else, was it not? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm tripping. I felt like we kept one more.
But if there were ever a year to keep 6, it's probably this year, because you just have no idea outside of a couple of guys. I mean, honestly, not even outside of a couple of guys. You don't know about anything right now, really.
Yeah.
Who do you know about outside of Khalil Shakir? He's the only returner. You don't know anything about anybody else.
I mean, then you have the other guys like Hamler. I know a little bit like Deion Kane. I know he has returned. Ty Johnson has done returning as well.
No. I mean, returning to the team to play wide receiver. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, we don't know anything about any of these guys in Buffalo right now. Nothing.
Yeah,
we have an idea because of what Coleman did in college. We have an idea because of what Curtis Samuel has done elsewhere in Mac Hollins. But reality is, Rico, we have no clue. We have no clue.
This is why Tuesday's cut down is going to be extremely interesting. I bet you some cut downs are going to start happening tonight.
I bet, yeah.
If not tonight, tomorrow we'll start to see some guys be let go. I mean, we already know who's probably going to be let go and who's going to be sent their way.
Also, some additions as well. I think that they probably look elsewhere at the backup quarterback position. Maybe they do look elsewhere at some other places too. Who knows?
Nucci gang, how'd you feel about Ben DiNucci today?
Hey, I thought for a week or a preseason week 3 game where it's kind of throwaway and you're only going to see the backups, I thought they looked pretty good. DiNucci had a god-awful throw that should have been picked before that touchdown. But outside of that, I thought he looked okay, and I thought Anthony Brown looked pretty dang good too.
Not bad. Anthony Brown was a little shaky at first, but he got his act together. They gave him some simple throws to make. But Ben DiNucci, great pass to Shavers. Shavers made a great route. He absolutely undressed that DB. Bro, you got to catch that, baby. You got to catch that, man. That ball in the end zone was perfect. You got to catch that, man. You got to bring it in tiptoe. You got to get that.
It was way better than we see. I thought it was probably as good a day as we saw this offseason. As far as like, okay, it looked better than anything Mitch Trubisky put out there before he got hurt. I'll say that.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Bill Smith says, regardless, there's no special teams evidence in the preseason to suggest that either Hardy or Hamler don't make the roster. One of them is making it. For sure. Hardy,
definitely.
I think Hardy's a lock. I think Hardy's the one that makes the lock because I think he's more impactful on the defense. He looked good today playing D. And the point, and he can play boundary and he can play nickel. Bro, McDermott, man. McDermott loves flexibility. If you're flexible, you're in. And that being said, that's my time because I got to go. Wifey's blowing
up. What's the deal? You guys vacation or like what's up with this?
She's been on my tail to go camping with the kids. So we have a friend of ours that has a cottage and all our neighbors, we're pretty tight. All our neighbors are all going there tonight. And then we're going to stay there. And then we're going to use the cottage. But tonight, we're camping outdoors. My black ass does not camp outdoors. And she knows that. But the kids want to do it. I was like, And I was just like, so I'm like, listen, I got to do the game. I got to do post game. I'll meet y'all over there. And we have an 8-man tent. I don't know where we got this 8-man tent, but we got an 8-man tent that I got to go.
Oh, you're packing 8 into this thing?
No, we're packing 4 and bro, don't even get me started, man. You get me upset right now. So anyway, I gotta go and meet everybody. So I gotta bring. She left with a few things. I gotta bring the rest of the things. So I gotta get going. So so I said I won't even do any of this stuff. So I'll meet you there. So here I am doing some of the stuff I said I wouldn't do. So anyway,
I don't want you on the shit list. So get going.
I'm already on the shit list. She's called me 3 times already. She's like, "What is this guy doing? He can't be on the road yet. He would have answered by now."
Oh no!
I just don't want to slip down to God. All right, folks, you guys enjoy the rest of your week, and my man Bot will hold it down. And we'll catch you guys. And then Tuesday, I'm gonna have to bring my laptop with me and all that stuff. That's another thing. I got to bring my laptop.
How long are you going for?
Till Tuesday.
Oh,
on cut day. She don't get it.
That's a little too long, man.
That's way too long. So hopefully, we'll see. Maybe she'll say, you know what? I think we've done our time here. I'm hoping. So I got to bring my laptop just in case.
You can convince the kids. Say you'll take them out to do something if they throw a fit.
I'm taking 2 cars. So
good call.
So we'll see how that plays out, folks. You guys have to do what I got to get out of here.
Make the most of it, brother.
Yeah, you know I will, man.
All right, see you, dude. Poor Rico. If it makes him feel any better, in a couple of weeks, I'm going out to the Gorge for Dave Matthews Labor Day weekend. It's my favorite weekend of the year, every year. But we literally live out of a van. I sleep in a van for 4 nights. It is insane. Before we wind up wrapping up here, it'll go on a little bit longer, talk about a couple more things. But before we wind up and close shop, quick reminder that the smoke break is brought to you by BetUS. Link in the description below. 125% sign up bonus, up to $2,000 on your first 3 deposits. Out of curiosity, I want to pull this up. Actually, we haven't looked at this in a while, and I want to take a look because, as I keep mentioning, we're only 2 weeks away from kick tomorrow. And we're talking about, what the Bills are going to look like the first time we see him with this new look. I mean, we have no real idea what the offense is going to look like with Josh Allen and these new wide receivers, and we don't know what the defense is necessarily going to look like either, with a couple of new guys as well and a lot of veteran presence no longer being on this team. So I'm interested to see what the Bills are currently favored by at home against the Cardinals in just a couple of weeks from tomorrow. So they're at -6. So the Bills are a full touchdown favorite right now over on BetUS to beat the Cardinals. A full touchdown favorite. You know how it is with the Bills. If they lose, it's incredibly close. If they win, a lot more often than not, it feels like they wind up killing you. And last year we saw that early on in the year. Bills struggled against the Jets, but they wound up taking on the Commanders, the Dolphins, and the Raiders, and they took it to town on all three of them. And I believe 2 of those games were at home. I'd love to see the Bills come out hot and cover that spread. But the Bills right now currently -6 over on BetUS. And once again, 125% sign-up bonus in the link in the description below, up to $2,000 on your first 3 deposits. That game I'm looking forward to so much, man. I absolutely cannot wait. I think it's a great jump start for what's ahead for these Bills. We're going to know exactly what these Buffalo Bills are going to look like, in my opinion, by Monday night on October 14th at about midnight. We are going to know exactly what these Buffalo Bills are in 2024 on October 14th, the second the clock strikes 0 in the Bills-Jets matchup at MetLife on Monday Night Football. I will be in attendance with all of the AFC East roundtable boys. So me, Dan Mitchell, TD, Richie, Patriots Global. And we're going to know in that moment as I'm sitting there watching the game come to a close. Now, the last time I was in that damn stadium and watched a game come to the close, I watched the Jets take back a punt return in overtime as Zach Wilson leads a Aaron Rodgers-less New York Jets team who was injured 4 snaps into the game. That's the last time I was at MetLife. And that was the last time I watched the game come to a close. That's what the end of that was. And I'm telling you right now, we're going to know exactly what these Buffalo Bills are at the end of the Bills-Jets game, week 6. This is a nice launch pad to me. A 6-point favorite against the Cardinals in week 1. A game that you very much should win. The number reflects it. But these next 5 games after that, I mean, if there's not a litmus test for what this team is this year, I don't know what is. Because this is exactly what you got to see. This is exactly what the tests will be to determine whether or not this team is remaining at the precipice of the AFC for 2024. I mean, the gauntlet in which is the Dolphins, Jaguars, Ravens, Texans, Jets. You could make a solid case for all 5 of those teams to be playoff teams this year. At the bare minimum, I would be stunned beyond belief if 4 of the 5 of those teams are not in the playoffs, at the minimum. I would be absolutely stunned. So you get that launch pad against the Cardinals, or you're hoping it to be a launch pad. I mean, that's the other thing, too. That's what makes that game, to me, even that much more important and also a little bit more nerve-wracking to me. You really can't afford to lose that Cardinals game because you have to think that in that 5-game stretch, you're baking in at least 1 loss. I mean, let's be honest. If the Bills run the table on that stretch, you're never going to see a version of me more amped than what that will result in, honestly. You see the Bills run the table in the gauntlet that includes the Dolphins, Jags, Ravens, Texans, Jets. I mean, you're going to see a rare breed of bot. I'll tell you that. I'm not anticipating that. I mean, a 6-0 start, you're back to considerable Super Bowl conversation with this team. Like, more so than maybe ever. If you wind up running that gamut there. I don't see it. I don't see anybody running that gamut. I don't care who you are. That's a tough stretch. And if you wind up dropping the one to the Cardinals in week 1, that makes that stretch even harder to me because you can't afford to drop a second one. Because say you wind up losing 2. Say you lose a bitter to the end game on Sunday Night Football to the Ravens. No one would be stunned beyond comparison if the Bills lost a close battle to Lamar Jackson and the Ravens on Sunday Night Football. No one would be shocked by that. No one would be stunned if the Bills lost a close one to the Texans or the Jets or the Jags, who they can't seem to beat for some reason. If you beat the Cardinals, you can lose 2 of those 5 and come out of that stretch 4-2 and take that into a Titans game and a Seahawks game that you should win. And then you take that into a Dolphins game where they haven't beat you at home since Nixon was in office. So you cannot lose to the Arizona Cardinals is basically what I'm trying to say to you. You can't. And if you do, you cannot lose 2 in that 5-game stretch. Because if you start out 3-3, especially with the rest of the season looking like it is, I mean, this schedule is ridiculous. That gauntlet there is just part one of the course. I mean, you still got to play the Chiefs, the Niners, the crazy thing to me is you got to play the best of the NFC, too, on top of it. Not only do you have to play the top of the AFC, but you got to play probably the 3 best teams in the NFC, not named the Philadelphia Eagles. Right? Well, no, I shouldn't say that. There's some other teams that you could factor in. But you could make an argument. I would say the Packers are up there, and I would not say Dallas is up there. We saw what the Bills did to Dallas last year, and you know how I feel about Dallas, so I don't count them. I think the Packers are going to be for real this year. The way that they looked last year, they very well could have been in the Super Bowl. Very well could have. But Niners, they're the best team in the NFC until I'm proven otherwise. The Rams, certainly one of them. And the Lions, I think there's an argument that maybe they even are the best team in the NFC. Certainly an argument for 2 or 3 alongside the Eagles and the Niners. And that's a 3-game stretch, by the way, folks. Those 3 games I just mentioned, that's immediately off the bye. They play those 3 games. So, and then, going into the bye, it's a Colts team that, was on the edge of making the playoffs last year with Gardner Minshew. They get Anthony Richardson back. They should be better. They're hoping they'll be better. I know it hasn't looked great for Anthony Richardson in camp, and there's been a lot of about him, but Colts have a pretty damn good team for a team that's trying to get back on the horse. And then the Chiefs, they're right before the bye. I mean, your schedule is tough when the easiest games are the 2 against the Patriots. And then the other thing, too, you have to factor in is the Bills always, every year, no matter how good they are, they will find a way, inevitably, to either lose one of those Patriots games or lose the Titans game, lose the Seahawks game, or even the Cardinals game. There's just going to be one of those in there. Like last year, here I am walking into Gillette Stadium. I've been there a few times, but I've never seen a game there before. And here I am walking into Gillette Stadium, and I'm thinking, this is going to be a great day. We have great seats. It's a beautiful afternoon, and the Bills are going to kick the ever-living shit out of Mac Jones and the Patriots. And what wound up happening? Josh Allen threw a pick the first drive of the game, and it never got back on the tracks. Lost that game. So they're good for one of them. But to me, it cannot be that Cardinals game. Dominic's saying it'd be the Jags game. I don't even know if you can consider the Jags game as one of those types of games, though, Dominic. I think the Jags are right back in playoff contention this year. I don't know what the hell happened to them through the midway point last year, but up until that point where they fell off of earth, they were gunning for a playoff spot. I mean, they were right on par for a while going into the halfway point. They were the favorite to win the division there, and then it just completely fell off for Jacksonville. I can't imagine that it does the same this year, especially because I think Doug Peterson knows if it does, he could be in trouble because they really sputtered out last year. I don't even think I can consider that game as one of those types of games because the Bills have played the Jags twice since Trevor Lawrence has come on the team, and they've lost both. One of them was one of the worst games I've ever seen in my entire life against the Urban Meyer-led Jags. Remember that game? Holy shit. I mean, that might have been the worst loss. I think that is the worst loss in the Josh Allen era. What was the final score? Like 10-6 or something like that? It was blood boiling, especially knowing just how god-awful Urban Meyer was, the whole situation there. For one of his only NFL wins ever, because he will never get a job in the NFL again. He'll never coach again, I would imagine. To know that was one of his wins makes me sick. Especially being a big Penn State fan and his success that he had, of course, in Ohio State, it made me that much more sicker. But, there's only a handful of these games on here that you would consider like, I'm writing the Bills in, lock it in. So this is a year where you can't really afford to have that misstep, in my opinion. You saw how hard it was for the Bills to get to 11-6 this year, and that was with a schedule that I think was more favorable than this one. Oh my God, yeah. Well, largemouth saying that I mean, at least in that game though, what that loss to the Vikings, yeah, the fumble in the end zone made you want to vomit. But that loss, remember, that loss came down to Justin Jefferson making probably the greatest catch I've ever seen, outside of the Odell Beckham Jr. the catch, right? Outside of that Justin Jefferson catch, I think it was on 4th down to extend the drive. Maybe the greatest catch I've ever seen. And that was the reason why the Bills ended up losing that one. Remember that one? That game was insane. At least that game was a fun watch. It was a heartbreaking blow to the gut loss, but at least it was a fun one. That Bills-Jags game against Urban Meyer, I mean, that was one of the worst football games I've ever seen. It's funny. We never really saw the Bills play like that before it with Josh Allen, and we've really never seen it quite like that again since. I don't know what the hell that game was. No Bull is saying, Z-Bot, I went to that game in Jacksonville. Told my girl, worst game ever from Josh. Yeah, dude, I can't think of a worse game to go to. I mean, I'm sorry. Oh, I'll give you to make you feel better. No Bull. I was at the Bills-Colts game where they got absolutely destroyed. Jonathan Taylor had an all-time day. That was the last game the Bills lost by more than 6 points in the regular season. So out of all the games I could have gone to that year, the one that I did end up going to with all my buddies, by the way, I go to a bunch every year. But the one that like all my buddies and I went to, we usually do about one of those a year where we get all the guys together. That just so happens to be the last game the Bills ended up losing by 6 or more points in the last however many years here. So I think we all have one of those games that stands out where it's just like, how the hell did I end up paying money to be in the building for this? Those games suck. Those games absolutely suck. So today was what it was. At the end of the day, you knew what you were going to get into today, and that was a preseason game where no starters were going to play, and it was just going to be, hey, have fun watching these backup guys duke it out. Hopefully a couple of them show something to help their chances to make the team. The Joe Andreessen thing, look, like Rico said, and I agree with him, I don't see a reason why he wouldn't make the team. He didn't harm himself at all today. He did play well today. He did have that miscommunication on that touchdown. But as it stands right now, there isn't enough depth at the linebacker position to where you feel comfortable enough with any of these guys to argue that Joe Andreessen shouldn't be considered. I think he makes the team. That would be my guess. We'll find out as soon as tonight, if not as late as Tuesday. But it would not stun me in the slightest if he wound up making the team. You got to remember, last year going into the Chiefs game in the divisional, they had to call A.J. Klein to cancel a family trip to go and play linebacker. So it is not a huge out-of-the-realm possibility for Joe Andreessen, an undrafted Buffalo dude, to make this roster. Corey's coming in with a super chat. He says, what do you think about Anthony Brown's performance today? I prefer him to be the backup quarterback. Well, today, like we had talked about a little bit earlier, pretty vanilla. He's only been on the team for about a week from the Ravens, but he was 11 for 12. I like the way he moved. I'll give you the answer I give every time this comes up, and it's what I said earlier when we were talking about, evaluating these backup quarterbacks in general. It could be Anthony Brown. It could be Ben DiNucci. It could be Mitch Trubisky. It could be my grandmother. Either way, the Bills are screwed. If any of those guys have to go in for any more than a play because Josh Allen's got to retie his shoe real quick, these Bills are toast. I don't see a world with this schedule, even if it's one game, I don't see a world where if Josh Allen's not on that field, the Bills are talented enough without him to win the football game. The defense would have to play a once in a season type performance to win that game. They'd have to force at the minimum 2 turnovers, and the other team would just have to have an ineptly off day offensively. That's the only way I see the Bills winning a game where Josh Allen's not out there. So to answer your question, Sure. Might as well be Anthony Brown for all I care, because whoever goes out there, it is going to be such a far cry from what Josh Allen brings to this team that inevitably they're not going to be able to compete on the level of a lot of these other teams they're going to have to face this year. I mean, if you look at this schedule, the only game where if Josh Allen, I don't know, he's got a bruised elbow that they want to, put on ice week 16 against the Patriots. Okay. I don't feel good about it at all, but they probably got a shot, right? Any other one of these games, I could not sit here with a clear conscience and give you an argument as to how the Buffalo Bills will win that game, other than they run for 200 yards and the defense forces 2 or 3 turnovers. Now, they could do that. I mean, they beat the Cowboys pretty much doing that. So that what you saw against the Cowboys last year, that would be your blueprint to win a game without Josh Allen, except the only difference is the other team doesn't have to bake in the fear of what Josh Allen could do because he's still out there. You might not defend the run fully because you know that as soon as you do, Josh Allen can hit you on a play action and you're 60 yards down the field. Or he can hit you on a boot and he ends up running too or whatever. So you got to factor that in. But the only way they would win a game like that is if they literally run the ball 45 times for 200 yards and the defense has a career day all around. So it doesn't really matter. That's why you got to just always hope that Josh Allen's impeccable resilience and durability that he has displayed since he's been drafted continues to remain the same. Because if it does, these Bills will 100% always have a shot each and every week, each and every year. Bills fans coming in here, he's saying, McDermott took Tyrod to the playoffs. If we don't have Tyrod right now, we don't have I don't think we have as good of a defense as we had right now either. That's the other thing, Bills fan. I see what you're saying. And you know me. I'm what feels like one of the lone Sean McDermott defenders left out there. And it's because of this reason. It's literally because of this reason. It's because of what he does with the defense. But that defense in, 2018? Compared to what they've lost going into this year and compared to what they're trotting out there that they're hoping ends up being something, but they don't quite know yet, that defense was better. That defense was the reason they got in. Plus, they had a prime LaShawn McCoy. I get the point. I don't know if it's that far off, but I just think defensively that season was a lot better for the Bills than I think this year is. I also think the competition in the AFC was not nearly like this either. You got to remember, that season, who went to the AFC Championship? Blake Bortles and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Blake Bortles went to the AFC Championship that year. Played Tom Brady. That's the other thing. I see what you're saying. Like, I totally do. But that might be the biggest thing of it all. That might really be the biggest difference of it all. The competition level in the AFC, and we all know this, it's at an all-time high. The difference between the competition in 2018 and now, Marcus Mariota was making the playoffs with the Tennessee Titans in 2018. Imagine making that argument today with the likes in which the AFC currently has at the quarterback position and in these rosters overall. It's insane. That's why Josh Allen can't go down. It might not necessarily be because they couldn't get there on their own volition, but it would frankly just be because their talent level would not be able to equate to the others on this list without Josh Allen. I just think it goes without saying. And you can say that for a lot of these teams. We know that to be true. What happened with the Bengals last year? The Bengals on paper, the Bengals have a better roster than the Bills. Certainly on offense. Joe Burrow goes down last year, season's over. Lamar Jackson, the year before last, goes down. Ravens are screwed, right? It doesn't matter if it's just the Bills. It just matters even more so because of the Bills, in my opinion. All those other the Bengals are relying on Joe Burrow. Certainly. They're not nearly as reliant on him, in my opinion, as the Bills are on Josh Allen. The only fair comparison, I think, would probably be the Lamar Jackson point, because that entire team's built around Lamar Jackson, and it's a totally different team without him. And you see that when he's not out there. But he has not been out there several times during his career. Josh Allen's been out there the entire time. You know how it is. Any one of these teams in the NFL these days that are built the way they're supposed to be, and that's through a top-tier quarterback, if they lose that guy, then the entire identity of the team is toast. Completely toast. I mean, you look at the Kansas City Chiefs roster. The Chiefs roster offensively, without Patrick Mahomes, is a middle of the run offense. And that is the exact same argument for the Bills. If the Bills did not have Josh Allen, and say this year they were starting Gardner Minshew, which the Raiders are going to be doing, you would view the Bills kind of similar to how you would view the Raiders. If the Chiefs were starting Gardner Minshew this year, you would view the Chiefs similar to how you view the Raiders right now. That's how big of a difference the quarterback position makes. It's insane. One guy, and it's like literal. I don't even think night and day is fair enough to compare how different it is, right? So, health is the absolute key. It was a fun day today, as far as a Week 3 preseason game is concerned. 31-26. We finally saw a few touchdowns on the board. Some decent backup quarterback play. I think Joe Andreessen makes the team. I thought he played well again today. Frank Gore Jr. looked awesome. He was the highlight of the entire day. He was the star of the show, and it was really fun to watch him. You know, the unfortunate takeaway from today was the Tyler Bass miss. It's going to be a hold your breath, fasten your seatbelt experience, it feels like, with Tyler Bass until we're proven otherwise this season. As Rico mentioned, and I agree entirely, it makes you wonder if the Bills are more susceptible to going for it on fourth down than they were in years past because of the uncertainty surrounding whether or not Tyler Bass is going to be able to make a kick 45 yards or farther. Today was perfect conditions, by the way. Anyone that was at the game will tell you there was barely any wind, sunny skies, beautiful day in Orchard Park. There was no reason for that kick to sail as far to the right as it wound up doing. And for those who are saying, Bot, you're overreacting, I mean, go and look it up. There's a million tweets out there that have documented Tyler Bass and his kicking throughout the offseason here in practice, and it has not been good. And when you factor that in with last year's performance, which took a nosedive, he was 8 for 8 in September last year, including a game-tying kick against the Jets. He won AFC Special Teams Player of the Month that month, and after that, it just never felt the same. It never looked the same. And he went from winning that award and having a perfect kicking mark in September to having one of the more mediocre to poor kicking percentages in the league last season at 82.8. It's only above a handful of other guys in this league. You also factor in that some of the best teams in this league have some of the best kickers, and that could ultimately be the difference between 11-6 and 9-8. 3 points here, 3 points there. It's a game of inches, and the Buffalo Bills play in tight games routinely. That's why they haven't lost a game by more than 6 points in 40 consecutive regular season football games. So it is 100% a valid concern, and I am 100% concerned. I don't know how much that kick against the Chiefs really messed with his head. It wasn't great going into that, but it certainly hasn't helped the cause. And what he dealt with afterward was complete bullshit. You know, all the shit that he got from terrible people sending him messages and shit. I never will understand how people do that. It is the most insane thing in the world to me to think people actually take the time to do that. It never makes sense to me. I'd never be able to wrap my head around it. But it already was a shaky to pretty poor year for Tyler Bass up until that point. You factor that in as well. And then now you add on top of it a really, really shaky offseason. And then the last thing we see from him, just like last year, the last thing we see from him in the regular season is a missed kick in the most crucial moment of the entire year. The last moment we see from him in this preseason is a missed 51-yarder. Valid reason for concern all around. It's 100%. And as Bills fan 7883 is, I'm not able to fact check him, but Bills fan 7883 is always coming in with good nuggets, so I'm going to take his word for it. And based on what I was just looking at earlier from the top level kickers here and their percentages, this totally adds up. Bills fans saying the league average is 90%. That's why when I say, like, I know when you hear 82.8%, like I mentioned earlier, if you had a really tough exam and you got an 82.8%, you might be ecstatic. But if you go to class and you thought the exam was hard and you got an 82.8 and you're happy about it, then you come to find out that exam had a class average of 90, you wouldn't feel as great about your 82.8 as you did before that. 82.8 in the NFL, it is not good. It's just not. And when you factor in, once again, the teams that do have these great kickers, these are the teams the Bills are in, like, they're running the race with here, right? The Chiefs have one of the best kickers in the league. The Steelers have one of the best kickers in the league. The Ravens, one of the best kickers in the league. So all you can do is hope. But I'll tell you right now, my confidence level is pretty barren at this point. I don't know what the feeling is in the building. I'm awfully interested. I think we will find out based on the decision making, because as Rico mentioned earlier, and I think it's a great point, I was stunned to see this. It felt like the Bills went for it a lot more last year than in years past. And when I just looked it up, the fact that they went for it only 16 times last year on fourth down, good for 29th in the NFL. Even if I'll be honest, like, even if Tyler Bass wasn't showing some struggles, let's bump those numbers up. I feel like with Josh Allen, 16 fourth down attempts is kind of weak. I'm going back and looking at it now. I'm stunned by this. You know, the fewest in the entire league was San Francisco, and the second fewest was Baltimore. And then the third fewest was Buffalo. That's 3 teams in the divisional round or better last year. I don't know. That's interesting to me. I would have guessed Kyle Shanahan went for it more on fourth down than that's showing too. I would not have guessed them being last. But either way, 16 attempts last year. I know Rico said double. I don't think there's a world where Sean McDermott's going for it 32 times in a season, because that would be good for about 5th last year. I don't think we see that. That's Dan Campbell territory, where you go for it what seems like every other series. But wow. This is when you know I'm marrying the right one, folks. Caroline just brought me a crisp, fresh Diet Coke. I'm coming. I'll be down in 2 seconds. We're getting married in less than 5 weeks, by the way. 5 weeks from yesterday. How nuts is that? Craziness. All right. Hey, folks, thanks so much for tuning into the pregame earlier and the postgame right now. Much love as always. Really do appreciate it. We made it. Folks, the preseason's done. The preseason is over. And now it's time to focus in on regular season. We kicked off the college football year today. And by the way, with a banger. Florida State, Georgia Tech. Florida State is the 10th ranked team in the land. The game's in Dublin, Ireland. All of their fans all year long bitching up a storm because they got left out of the college football playoff last year because their quarterback went down. It's not fair. We got hosed. They're booing Kirk Herbstreit this morning because he was an outspoken critic on Florida State and the idea that they should have been in the playoffs last year. And they lose to unranked Georgia Tech in week 0. That's why you gotta love college football, and you just gotta love football in general. So next week, it's a full slate of college football, tons of incredibly good games. My Nittany Lions are playing West Virginia. We have Notre Dame, Texas A&M. We have Georgia, Clemson. So we get that as a little appetizer, a little precursor, and then the following week, football is back, baby. I can't wait. And I'll be back with you this coming week as well for a couple more episodes of the Smoke Break. Rico will be joining me again this coming weekend, or this coming week as well. Maybe we'll get a recap of the big camping trip that he's going on. On your way out, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, of course, as well, if you haven't already, to be able to stay in touch with all of the content we got coming your way this season. And it's going to be a lot, believe me. Also, make sure to take advantage of that 125% sign-up bonus from BetUS in the link in the description below. 125% sign-up bonus up to $2,000 on your first 3 deposits. All right. Tons of love, folks. I really appreciate you spending your Saturday afternoon with me, and I look forward to talking to you again this upcoming week. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, folks. And as always, go Bills.
If you're a custodial supervisor at a local high school, you know that cleanliness is key, and that the best place to get cleaning supplies is from Grainger. Grainger helps you stay fully stocked on the products you trust, from paper towels and disinfectants to floor scrubbers. Plus, you can rely on Grainger for easy reordering, so you never run out of what you need. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
If you're a podcast host, listen up, this one's for you. My name is Allie Jackson. I'm the host of Finding Mr. Height, a dating and relationship podcast that I've been doing for 4 years now, sharing my positive and practical approach to dating that's built on my own life experience. And I wanted to share another experience that I've had, my secret behind monetizing my show. It's called Red Circle, and I was just telling my colleague about how much I love their platform. With Red Circle, not only am I getting a seamless hosting experience, but I also love the support I receive in ad sales. It's not just typical ad sales either. It's targeted opportunities based on my show and my life. And the platform is super simple. You just set your preferences and Red Circle matches you with sponsors that align with your show. You can vet every opportunity and their platform gives you great analytics. More recently too, my Red Circle team has brought me opportunities outside of my podcast on social media to really augment the podcast partnerships, bring them full circle. I just can't recommend them enough. If you want to give it a try, go to redcircle.com to get your free trial. That's redcircle.com for a free trial.